My name is Misty Williamson. I'm a junior at University of South Alabama, and I'm majoring in elementary education, K through 6.
Hi, my name is Micah Langston, and I am a student at the University of South Alabama. I'm a K through 6 major.
My name is Caitlin Doyle, and I'm also here at the University of South Alabama, and my major is K through 6 education.
My name is Audrey Bird. I go to South Alabama, and my major is also K through 6 education. Our lesson plan is 1 hour, and we are Team Reese's. The grade level we are doing is kindergarten, and our lesson plan focuses on the 5 senses. The subject content area is science and biology, in which we'll be learning the 5 senses, as I mentioned earlier. The Alabama College standards are recognizing the sensory descriptors, identifying the sense organs, and also identifying the 5 senses. Some of the vocabulary concept words we'll be learning today is nose, mouth, ears, eyes, hands, senses, organs, smell, touch and feel, hear, sight, taste, sweet, sour, bitter, and also salty.
Some of our behavioral objectives for this lesson plan are that the students will describe the sense organs, the students will identify the 5 senses, and the students will recognize the sensory descriptors. Some of the materials we will learn or we will use throughout this lesson are the smartboard, a whiteboard, markers, paper and pencils, sour Skittles, pretzels, M&Ms, and dark chocolate. For our motivation, the students will walk in and be seated. The students will be asked who wants to learn candy in the smartboard today. After a few answers, the students will then be asked who knows their 5 senses. I will write the 5 senses on the smartboard. Then the students will be asked, when your mom or dad is baking something, do you smell it with your eyes? How about your ears? After the students answer, hopefully one of them will say nose. I will say correct, you smell it with your nose. Your nose is one of the sensory body parts, also known as organs. We realize that as kindergartners, they are not going to use the term organs. However, we feel like introducing it early is beneficial so that when they see the word later, they are already somewhat familiarized with it. Then we will say, let's begin to learn about the other sensory organs.
And the instruction procedures, I will start with the motivation, and hopefully by then they're really interested and excited to see what we're going to learn about. I will open a presentation for them to get them even more excited, and it will be on the smartboard, and it's a little activity that we're going to show you guys a little bit later in the video. I will talk to the students about the sensory organs and how they're associated with 5 senses to kind of give them a feel about what we're going to learn in the lesson. I will have the students volunteer, like I said in the activity that we'll show you later, to come up and manipulate it. I will pass out a worksheet after we discuss and learn about what the course of study is. Like I said, I'll pass out a worksheet, and I'll give the students probably around 10 minutes to complete the first part. I'll walk around and make sure that everyone is understanding what they're supposed to do. After the 10 minutes, I will begin the last activity, which involves the sensory descriptors. I will pass out a whiteboard and markers for each student and inform them to keep their hands in their laps. And on the whiteboard, I'm going to go ahead and have sweet, sour, bitter, and salty already written on there for them, because I do know they are kindergartners and they probably don't really understand that yet. So I will give each student 4 pieces of candy that are associated, like what I said, with sweet, sour, bitter, and salty. I will again tell the students to keep their hands in their laps until further instruction, because you know how kindergartners can be. I will define sweet, sour, bitter, and salty so I know that they really do understand about what they're going to do in this activity. I will tell the students to pick up their first piece of candy, which will be a sour Skittle, and they'll be allowed to eat it. Like I said before, I already have sweet, sour, salty, and bitter written on it, so all they have to do is circle what they think it tastes like. After they circle it, they're going to show me their answer, and hopefully the students will, learn how to associate taste with the type of candy that they are eating. I will also do this with all the other 3 types of candy that I mentioned she mentioned in the materials. And at the end, I'll let the kids, finish their candy and talk amongst themselves, just to have them calm down a little bit.
And then at the end of the lesson, we will review the 5 senses, following with the 5 organs or body parts and the descriptors we just talked about. So for our evaluation, we are going to give a fill-in-the-blank worksheet to the students. They will be asked to recognize their sense organs and associate with the 5 senses. For example, one of the questions might be, what do you hear with? And the answer is ears. Or what do you use your nose for? And the answer is smell. And then like Caitlin talked about in the instructional procedures, the other way that we are going to evaluate whether or not the students have comprehended the lesson is when they are given 4 different types of candy in the whiteboard and asked to describe the differences in sensory descriptors in each candy that they eat.
And with the activity that I mentioned in the instructional procedures, which we'll do before the last activity, is I'll have some of the students come up and I'll probably have to guide them a little bit, but I'll say, okay, this is a plate full of cookies, like what we mentioned in the motivation. What do you use to smell those cookies? And hopefully they'll pull the cookies into the category that matches with the nose. And the same with this rainbow, how do you see the rainbow? Like what organ do you see or body part? And they'll say, oh, you see with your eyes. How do you feel a fire? Oh, you feel it with your hands. How do you hear a horn? You hear it with your ears. And how do you taste a lime? You do with your mouth. So hopefully they'll understand how to do that. And that is our lesson.
Thank you for your time. This lesson and video was created for EDM 310 at the University of South Alabama.
Thank you.